Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Welcome back. Well, if you had any question about it, today it is for fact. The rule of law doesn't mean a damn thing if you are Hillary Clinton. Now, in today's FBI press briefing, the FBI director actually said some pretty damning things, giving off the impression initially, David, that she might actually face some prosecution here. Yeah. But then, plot
and he contradicted
twist,
what she said.
No charges.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very important, Leanne, that we look at the fact that he contradicted directly what she said. She had said, I never received or sent anything that was classified. And he said, no, she got 110 emails that were classified when sent or received. So right there, they catch her. In fact, maybe she didn't say that to them privately, so she didn't lie to the FBI. She just lied to the American public for a very long time. Then he goes on to say, and then there was additional 2,000 emails that were later up classified. And we've had this discussion before as well. Many of these things, because of the nature of her office, and these are private conversations that are that information is sent out right away, they're later classified, but they are born classified. They're born classified because these are private discussions between other heads of state. And so she knows that. Mm-hmm. She and her husband know that. I want to focus on what he had to say, and I want to focus on the different treatment that we have seen in the past for people who were CIA directors, people who were whistleblowers. And I think it's very interesting to look at the fact, as we mentioned with Lionel just previously, it was clear that she had classified information. She sent and received this information. It doesn't matter whether it was 110 or 2010 that she did, okay? Still, she had these classified pieces of information. And was it improperly stored and transmitted? There's no question that that's the case, okay? He talks about both of those things.
He said that himself. He said they should never have been on any kind of unclassified system.
That's right. So but he leaves her out, saying, was it intentional? Was it grossly negligent? Well, we know that it was an intentional thing because she instructed people to overrule the classified markings on these things so they could be transmitted via fax and other means. And we know that it was grossly negligent because she made no attempt to provide security. And this is precisely what we saw in the previous indictment of John Deutsch, who was the CIA director under Bill Clinton in 1996. They immediately went in, they raided his home, they took all of his information, they didn't allow his lawyers to take a look at this and cherry pick what they were going to turn over to the FBI. They got everything. And if you look at the statute that they have for this, they say that anybody who is an officer who by virtue of their office becomes possessed of documents or materials containing classified information, knowingly removes such documents or materials without authority with the intent to retain such documents or materials at an unauthorized location. That's why he was convicted and then pardoned by her husband, Bill Clinton. But I want to take a look at Thomas Drake, because I think this is even more egregious. Because we have the FBI director saying that no reasonable prosecutor would do this. Because we're looking at this and we're saying, well, there is evidence of potential violations. There's not. It's not potential. Okay, these were actual violations. They were classified, improperly stored, grossly negligent, and as we point out, there is intention. Okay, but he says, we've had decisions like this in the past, and we're not going to do this in the future, okay? In the past, we have handled this differently. Yeah, because the context now is Hillary Clinton and the powerful Clintons, and so they're going to let this get a pass. Take a look at the case of Thomas Drake. He's one of the 4 key whistleblowers of the NSA, trying to tell people in the wake of September 11th that they were now doing dragnet surveillance on the public. They tried to go to the Congress. They did it that way. They were shut down repeatedly. Nobody wanted to hear that story. And eventually they came after him. They charged him with 10 felony counts, 5 under the Espionage Act, 1 obstruction of justice statement, 4 for making false statements to the FBI. There you go. There's that hook they always put on you, making false statements to the FBI. He was facing 35 years in prison. They completely destroyed his life. Okay. One of the documents that he had was what a success, quote unquote. Is a document that was the subject of the first count, okay? Remember, there's only 4 documents that they came after, 4 or 5 documents. Okay, it was classified as secret on the day they found it in his home. It was not a classified document. It was later declassified by the NSA, yet they continued to try to prosecute him. It was a persecution because he was a whistleblower. He said they came to him and they said, Drake, you are screwed. They said, we're going to send you to jail. And they had another document. He said, I was made an enemy of the state just because they said I was. Hillary Clinton is exonerated just because they say she's exonerated. Now, here's one of the other documents they had. It listed a schedule of meetings about a project called Turbulence, just listed the schedule of meetings. It was marked unclassified for official use only. It was also posted on the NSA's internal website. The government since argued the schedule should have been classified, and he should have known that it should have been classified. A schedule of meetings. That was all it had. They said, you should have known that was classified, even though it wasn't. Should Hillary have known that her private conversations with foreign heads of state were classified? Of course she should have. And the director knows that as well. This is criminal, what he did. And to say that don't think that you're going to get away with this in the future, anybody else, this is special treatment for Hillary Clinton. The fact that he would say that in this indictment is the most amazing thing out of all of these lies that we've seen unfolding in this last week, this collusion between the Justice Department, the State Department, and this criminal FBI. This guy is at the level of criminal corruption that we saw with J. Edgar Hoover. That's one of the most amazing things I've seen, Leanne.
Right. I mean, and it's like, what do they have over him? He would come out and admit, here's some of these things, but we're going to, not this time. So now we also know that she did certify under penalty of perjury that she'd fully complied with this court order to hand over all of her official emails to the State Department. But we learned last week that of the many emails that she actually withheld, one of them was a very damning email shedding light on how this bootleg server that she had set up was a huge security threat, and that caused the State Department to temporarily lower its secure systems firewall. So they had to lower the firewall, don't send any emails we've been hacked into. And we know that there were other work emails not turned over by Clinton. And we actually learned about this during one of the Benghazi hearing, and her response to that, why didn't you hand over everything that had to do with Sidney Blumenthal, your secret person here that's telling you all about your job? Well, she said that she wasn't under any obligation to turn over those emails if she didn't personally decide that they were work-related. So she made herself the boss over what needs to be subject to FOIA request.
And we have to look at this and say, is this a case, as Alex pointed out, I personally believe this is a case of plausible deniability, so she can put a Dropbox in here to pass information to sources who are going to give them money. Understand, exactly 20 years ago, we had the Democrat Party involved, as well as Bill Clinton, in a scandal where there was secrets for money with Chinese businessmen, Chinese government officials. We had people like Charlie Tree, also Ing Lap Sing, who is now involved again in this scandal that involved John Ash, who just mysteriously died with a barbell dropped on his neck. Okay. And again, it's the same people, exactly the same players, the same Chinese businessmen, the same MO. Okay. Nothing changes. They're doing exactly what they did 20 years ago because they got away with it. And they're doing it in your face again now. And this is what's so criminal about this. When we look at these statements, when they were coming after Thomas Drake, we had William Welch, who was the senior litigation counselor at the time. He said, this isn't an issue of benign documents against Thomas Drake, even though I just read to you that they were benign. They were not classified documents. It was absurd what they were doing. These were schedules that had been posted, weren't classified, and these were things that were like training documents. They were coming after him in a manner of persecution. He said, when individuals go out and harm our intelligence ability, our intelligence goes dark and our soldiers in the field get harmed. That's what he said. That's the issue behind why you have national security. And yet all of that is waived. Everything that they do to us to destroy our individual liberties, to destroy our privacy, to invade us in every aspect of our life, that is all justified by this altar of national security. And what she has done is essentially sliced open a pig on this sacred altar of national security. She and the State Department and the FBI, I don't want to hear any more about national secrets, and I don't want to hear any more about the fact that the rest of us have to obey draconian laws that are unconstitutional while they pass. And that's the hallmark of a tyranny, of a dictatorship, the fact that there's these double standards and the fact that they're going to go draconian and unconstitutional on us, but these people can do anything they want in public, killing people, violating state secrets, and they walk because of who they are.
Right. And they think that we are so stupid, the American people, that we're going to elect someone that they're basically saying that their level of incompetence and carelessness with this was astounding. But let's go ahead and make her the most powerful.
If it's not criminal, she's amazingly incompetent.
Right. Well, stick around. Margaret Howell will be joining me in studio right after this.
People desperate for staples like milk, rice, and flour stormed a supermarket warehouse in Guyana City.
If you go back to 2007, the British Ministry of Defense came out and echoed a Department of Defense report from here in the U.S. saying that beginning in the year 2016, right through 2020 to 2030, that they believe there would be massive multi-100% food price increases worldwide. And that during that global meltdown, that there would be incredible social unrest that would depopulate much of the earth. Now, in 2016, Vice magazine and other publications are reporting on a 2015 report produced by the U.S. government, the UN, and scores of foreign nations, as well as the State Department, overseen by food giant Cargill, the World Bank, and most importantly, the World Wildlife Fund. The World Wildlife Fund is a eugenics, anti-human organization set up by Prince Bernhard, who also founded the Bilderberg Group and who was a Nazi officer. In this new FEMA report, with headline, FEMA contractor predicts social unrest caused by 395% food price spikes, you learn that this is a report filed with governments and major institutions overseen by a contractor that since the 1940s has been the main advisor for the U.S. Navy Marine Corps. Now, all of this said, governments and corporations and institutions are stockpiling food and weapons. They're digging in, they're getting bunkers. Elites are fleeing to places like New Zealand en masse. We've gone from financial meltdown and huge regional wars being a possibility to being a probability to more and more becoming an inevitability. Number one, everybody needs to be able to protect themselves. Everybody needs friends and family they can rely on in crises. And everyone needs high quality storable foods and high quality water filtration systems. But we're offering the biggest wide spectrum sale ever on preparedness items, 20 to 40% at InfoWarsStore.com. On InfoWars Select, high quality storable foods, the highest quality, the lowest prices, powered by My Patriot Supply. We also sell their food as well, their full spectrum. And all of their water filtration systems across the board, from gravity-fed systems like Alexa Pure and ProPure, to shower filters, to survival straws, you name it, it's all 20 to 40% off right through July 4th at InfoWarsStore.com. I know I personally am getting prepared. The warning signs are insane. Take advantage, 20 to 40% off until early next week with the 4th of July holiday special at InfoWarsStore.com.